What's up, all my folks out in YouTube land? Man, look, this is the season right now, this time of the year where everybody's starting their businesses out, right? I love it. So, I always go out, I see new businesses, I see new, people out there cutting grass, I see new handyman businesses, I see new businesses everywhere. And I know that a lot of them ain't gonna make it through the year. You know what I mean? I'm not wishing bad on nobody, but I just know that that's the case. It's just actual statistics.
Where you're getting your statistics? Know where you're getting your statistics?
But what I'm here to do is uplift you, man, encourage you. I'm gonna give you 5 things to keep your mind right so you can focus and understand what you gotta do to get this thing rolling, all right? Ain't no time to waste, let's get into it. First things first, this sounds like a little thing. It sounds like duh, you know what I mean? But it's not, it's actually not duh. It's a lot of people are telling you not to think this way. For whatever reason, I don't know. But you actually have a business. That's it, man. You actually have a business. I don't know if what it is with people's mind frame is they're basing stuff off of off the IRS, because the IRS, if you have a single member LLC, they look at it as far as tax purposes, they look at it like it's a sole proprietorship, right? But you can still got a lot of personal taxes and things that you can do, write-offs and all that stuff, the same as you would with any business. Maybe it's, like I said, a lot of people done read Robert Kiyosaki books and, where he defines, the difference between self-employment and a business owner, entrepreneur, and investor, and whatever else. And look, I understand reading the books and I've done it, but what I don't do is, because I read a book, then it becomes law in my mind. He got his opinion, and that's fine. I get that Robert Kiyosaki separated all 4 of them and gave them all definitions and defined them differently and told you that you don't have a business if you're self-employed. And so many people just read the book and ran with it like it's law. And I'm just saying, like, y'all think for yourself, man. Stop doing all this. Last time I checked, the definition of a business included a range, everything from sole proprietorship to C Corps. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, if that, so you can think you're not running a business. Maybe some of your businesses can't sell like a corporation, but you're in competition with the corporations. You're after the same customers, right? You're doing the same things. You're doing the same advertising. You're doing the same work. You're doing all the same things. But somehow they've convinced you that you don't own a business. Like it's lesser than somehow because it's just you. Look, get all that out of here. A lot of y'all like me, where you like running it by yourself. There's just much higher profit margins and you don't have to deal with the headaches of having employees. And a lot of people, if you work in the construction industry or almost anywhere, I had a lot of jobs, man. Had over 20 jobs and all different types of fields. It'll make you just not want employees. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but you do have to run a business though. You still have to run it like you're running a business. You got to be available. You need somebody to answer those phones when people call. You need all these things to happen, which is, now you just starting out, you're gonna need a CRM, because I'm gonna tell you, if you want to spend money on anything, you gotta spend it on some sort of CRM. And the one I use is Jobber. I love it because it's a one-stop shop for doing invoicing, for sending quotes out, for just to keep your database of your customers and keep things organized, where I can click on one customer's name and it'll give me a spot where it says the work, and I can look at all the work that I've done for that customer. I can look at all the quotes. Now they got all kind of new stuff. They got all kind of AI tools, man, to where if you can't get to the phone, which I would say starting off is so critical to be able to answer that phone. They got an AI assistant that'll answer the phone for you. I mean, what do you got to lose? Right now, for the end of this month, they're doing 40% off. Like, for the first couple months, man, like it's a deal and a half. But regardless, use my link in the description, man. Jobber, you won't be disappointed. So have respect for yourself. You're running a business. You need to think like a business owner, and you need to make moves like a business. All the information I've received, as far as, say, if you would call it mentorship, with people that had multiple employees. They had employees, some of them had buildings and everything, but it all ends up being the same in the end. They're all trying to make money the same way you are. They're trying to make profit. They're estimating, they're getting their numbers and figuring out, looking at their P&Ls and all that, just like you. So you're running a business, you need to act like it. This next one is huge. I mean, it's huge, man. It's called comparison. Of course, it ain't that deep. It ain't that deep of a word, comparison, but it's a strong word. It's huge over here, right? I mean, I was surprised when I first got into it, just how much people were comparing themselves to each other and every little thing. Like it actually kind of gets irritating after a while. It's like you can't, you know, if you understand like one reason, there's multiple reasons why I don't post prices in the videos, just because I don't feel like, you know, as a customer, I don't really feel like it's everybody's business to know how much I paid. It's just that simple, you know. If the customer wants to tell everybody how much they paid, but you know, some people be trying to keep that, you know, keep that under wraps. So that's one reason why I don't post a lot of prices up on here. But another reason is, it doesn't matter what you charge, always gonna be 500 people are gonna tell you that they charge 20 times more than you did. That you just charging too low. All y'all brokies out there, man. I mean, I think I put something about one time, it was like a dishwasher installation, and somebody I don't know, I was charging like $200 or something like that, and maybe $225. It was like $200 and like $230 or something like that for to haul away the old one. And man, I mean, people just come at you like, yo, man, I hope you could charge more than that, man. You know, I charge $500. It's like, all right, what are we talking about, right? It's just insane. You know, y'all know, you go on the forums and you see every time somebody posts a price, 100 people in there are making 20 times more than that. It doesn't matter what you put. And it's just like, okay, it just gets a little irritating after a while. It's like, I'm doing all right. I'm doing me. You know what I mean? I'm running my own race. It reminds me of, remember when, y'all remember something about Mary? And the dude was like,
you heard of this thing, the 8-minute abs?
Yeah, sure, 8-minute abs. Yeah, the exercise video. Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, this is gonna blow that right out of the water. Listen to this. 7-minute abs.
It's just like that. I mean, people do the same thing on YouTube, man. You don't really see it that much now, but man, a couple years back, it was like, dude, you put out a price like, man, do this and make $500 a day. Here comes the next person. Well, I make $800 a day. Next person, I make $1,000 a day. And it was just like, okay, I saw one dude was like, do this for $2,000 a day. And I'm like, okay, where does it end? Where does it end? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it matters you don't want to get underpaid, right? And as you learn, you might come up with ways that you could charge more. You'll learn more about your area, how much people can handle, you know. You might be one of the top dogs that can charge the top prices over time, but you'll figure all that out. But just stop, don't do it from the start. Don't get out there just trying to compare yourself, because man, and people be lying, because if everybody made the amount that these people be talking about, there'd be all these $1 million a year handyman walking around, and I just don't see it. Number 3, you're gonna have to be prepared for rejection. And even though it's not personal though, like, it's not like people are personally rejecting you and everything about you. They're just rejecting your business and your numbers, and that's it. But man, it can feel like it. And I understand, like, see, luckily, I got lucky, right? I got trained early in the art of rejection, and I didn't even realize it. I was a paper boy back in the day. So shout out to all my former paper boys. We was the last generation, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about on the bike with the pouch, tossing the papers out, right? The newspaper that I worked at, we had to actually go collect the money. So that one thing that taught me was, there's people who, nah, man, we ain't getting no newspaper no more, whatever, this and that. And it also taught me how to just ask for people for the money. Knock on the door, boom, hey, I'm here to collect.
Johnny.
4 weeks. 20 papers, that's $2 plus tip.
Gee, Johnny, I don't have a dime, sorry.
Didn't ask for a dime. $2.
So that was my thing. But also, I used to rake leaves. There's another thing I did, but that was like a door-to-door thing. And man, I didn't even realize how much I was getting rejected. Just didn't realize it, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I was literally just knock on the door, they say no, I go to the next door, go to the next door, go to the next door until somebody says yes. When you're figuring out pricing, you're going to get rejection. And it's actually a good thing because it helps you to figure out, okay, what's too high? You're getting too many bids accepted, like way too many, like 100%. Nobody's saying no to these deals you're throwing out. Then you're too low, Like, so you gotta kind of helps you to see and gauge your area. It's one of those things where you have to understand the clientele in the area, but just because you get rejected, don't take that personal. It's part of doing business and learning. Now this next one, I can't say it enough times. Save your money, okay? Save your money. Now that's something I didn't do. And what happens is it puts you in such a pinch, not only when you get a bad month, because you will have a bad month. Sometimes you come out the gate and it's going. And you're just so hyped up. It's like, man, this will never stop. As long as it keeps rolling like this, man, I'll just be straight forever. But unfortunately, it usually doesn't. There might be the case that somebody has where they just rolling and that's it. They never look back. But a lot of us, you know, you run into slow spots. Sometimes you run into really slow spots. And it's just, you'll learn. You'll learn certain times of the year are just bad. They're just going to be bad. So you gotta prepare for it. If you're a solo operator, you can get a wrap, right? You can wrap your truck or not. I know there's, you know, mixed information about that online, but the way I see it, it's just different. It's a difference in you trying to expand and have multiple employees or something like that versus working for yourself. Because I'm gonna tell you straight up, I ain't never even thought about getting my truck wrapped because most of the people, they hire me for me. Like, you know, hire me for me and my work, especially after I meet them, talk to them, and then once I do some work for them, then it's a personal relationship after that. The wrap is out of the window. And most of the times, it never was a consideration in the first place. You know, and you know how many compliments I've actually got from older, especially the older guys, older men saying like, man, finally, a truck looking like a truck is supposed to be, like it's been used to do what a truck is supposed to do. They love to see my truck not look shiny and pretty. You know, it's just how it goes. Those things also cost a lot of money. And what you don't want to run into is a problem where you just run out of cash or something comes up like a good commercial job, right? There might be a good commercial job that comes up where you need the money to buy the materials because, you know, it's just different. With commercial work, you're buying the stuff out of pocket first and then everything's coming back to you later. Well, if you done spent all your money and the opportunity comes, what you gonna do? They don't need to go around that often. They find you, they'll stick with you. Even, you know, like the good do the bad, they'll stick with you if they got somebody that they know is gonna fix stuff right and is gonna charge a fair price and whatever. But if you're not there, if you can't do it the way that they need to do it for their accounting purposes and all that, you just miss out. You miss out on the opportunity. So I say, stick with the tools that you have to have at first and only upgrade when you need to. You gotta have some money put away because anything can happen. I mean, you could be on the job and the tool breaks and then boom, right then you gotta go get this tool and it costs $300. You just gotta have the money for it. They ain't no, well, you know, I don't know, I'll see if I can find somebody who has one or something. Nah, you don't wanna be that guy. Hold on to your money. Now, I don't know which one of y'all needs to hear this, but I just don't like the you know, the glazing and gassing up people be doing online about how it is to work for yourself. You get a lot of people out here that tell you that, man, work for yourself, you got all this freedom. And it's just you able to come and go and just do whatever you want, whenever you want to do it. And while that has some truth to it, because you're the one making the schedule, realistically, you're on other people's time the same way as they're on your time. You just see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you schedule the job, but you can't just wake up one morning and decide, well, I'm just not going to work today. I'm just canceling all the jobs and just, you know, whatever, who cares what they think and if they took off work or whatever happens. It's not the case. So I don't want you to gas yourself up about how just free it is. It can become that way, but there's always, anytime you're self-employed, it's never full 100% freedom because you're always gonna be beholden to other people's schedules. Part of that is also that your leisure, when you're starting out, your leisure comes last. If you wanna grow and you wanna, to me, the game is about speed, right? You wanna be able to grow this thing as fast as possible. If you can fit a bunch of customers in as fast as possible and grow it to where you have a community, and 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 you have a community and you're able to start getting repeat customers, and you're able to start, you grow that base up quickly, then I'm telling you, you know, it'll be, I just did a job the other day for somebody I did the job for 5 years ago. That base will build up. This year, matter of fact, this year, dude, I haven't had one new customer yet. Not one. It's all been customers that I've had for years, or customers that I just got like last year, but it's all been repeat customers. But that came from like, dude, I didn't have any days off. It was 7 days a week doing whatever it was, working until I couldn't see it anymore. I was doing jobs in the middle of the night. If they had an empty house, then I was doing jobs. I would do a job during the day, maybe go home for a little while and then go back out, as long as it was a single family home, but where I could work on drywall and all that whenever I wanted to. I did all those things because I was trying to build it up. And I'm telling you, you can't come in worrying about vacation and worrying about, I only want to work 4 days a week, unless you're retired, you got some other money coming in. But if you're trying to build this thing out for real, like you're not playing games, you're dead serious about making this work for however long you want it to work, however many years you want to be in it. Don't nobody care about your leisure. Nobody care about your vacation and you know, that you've worked, you know, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I've worked 30 days in a row. I mean, who cares? Don't nobody care. You're doing it for you. So do you want it or not? You're not the only one that's ever done that. So what I figured always was like, I did it for other people. I did it for years where I worked full-time job, worked part-time job. I gave up all my weekends for a decade, because I didn't know that something like this was a possibility, right? So, but there was no excuses is what I'm saying. There was no like, my main thought was, well, if I did that for somebody else, and I was willing to give up all the time in my evenings and work part-time shifts here and do this or whatever, then, I mean, but for myself, I want to think about leisure, and I want to think about, well, I want to sit down and have brunch every day, and I want to get all that out your mind, man. Work just as hard for you or harder than you were willing to put in for other people. You got to do it, man, but your leisure comes last until you built it up enough to where you can start planning those things out. It doesn't take a whole lot. It's not like you got to be making millions or anything like that to start planning time off and all that, but you got to get there first. And to get there, you got to put in that work, all right? So, Daryl, also known as the Finisher, stay safe, be blessed, and remember, if the trades don't work, nothing else does.